It's getting crazy out there. Final days, 3 days until the election, and that means that both Trump and Vice President Harris are holding a bunch of rallies. Let's check in on how that's going, starting with Donald Trump, who spent time. I always say these final days are very, very valuable. You want to spend every single moment saying things that will lead to more voters voting for you, maximizing the last bits of time you have left before election day. Or another strategy is Trump stopping his speech, stopping the part that he was reading on the teleprompter, the point he was making, to, well, you'll see. While you're watching this, please do click the subscribe button if you have not already. We have millions of people watching the show who are not subscribed, if you can believe it, on a daily basis. So I'm talking to y'all. If you could do that, then we could immediately cross over the 1 million subscriber threshold, which is unbelievable. Thank you so much to everybody.
Oh shit, look. I'm looking at the back of my head. What the hell? I look over at Youngkin. Now I look up there. I see I'm having a bad hair day. This is not good. I have to have a bad hair day in front of Virginia? That's not good. Well, at least it's a nice picture.
Yeah, I don't know how he deciphers between good hair days and bad hair days. I always just see Trump's hair, which rarely what I define as a good hair day. But quite the thing to mention during such a crucial final speech. I'll show you Harris saying something very, very different during her speeches. And like I said, to halt progress on your speech to make the point, and the MAGA crowd loves it so much, so maybe that's why he does it. But we've seen some wild moments that I'll get to, much worse than that, throughout this rally and others today. But before getting to those, you have to see this clip, as Aaron Rupar describes it, of YOLO Biden.
They want another giant tax cut for the wealthy. Now, I know some of you guys are tempted to think it's macho guys. I'll tell you what, man. When I was in Scranton, we used to have a little trouble going down the plot once in a while. From Greenwich.
You don't know what you're not ready for what's coming if you haven't seen this. Buckle your seatbelt and brace for impact.
But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Oh God. No. Okay, first of all, Joe. Oh gosh, he really does have a YOLO spirit. Now that he's not the candidate, he's out here doing the garbage thing, and now this. He's gonna have to clear up this one, I'm sure. But look at this. Look at his face.
They're the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
You like to smack him in the ass. Which, by the way, I don't think that's the phrase. I think you would say kick them in the ass, like fight them, not smack them in the ass like you do in a sexual context. Wow. Last night, Trump's doing that mic thing. Why did I almost emulate it? That would have been a disaster. And talking about just a little while ago, Arnold Palmer's penis, and now we have Biden saying he wants to smack Trump in the ass. Things are going off of the rails very quickly. And of course, MAGA's probably going to go, that's a physical threat. And I, of course, think we should be very mindful of our rhetoric, so we're never promoting violence. But it's very clear Biden is not talking about actual violence. One more time.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
We gotta get that on a soundboard. Wow. Meanwhile, Trump at his previous rally is really struggling to keep his thoughts together. Another reason he stops his teleprompter reading to jump off script is to insist, I'm a genius. Regardless of what Biden wants to do to my ass, I'm a genius.
When I say insane asylums, and then I say, Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Does anybody know? They go crazy. They say, oh, he brings up these names out of, well, that's genius, right? Dr. Hannibal Lecter. There's nobody worse than him. Silence of the Lambs. Who the hell else would even remember that? I have a great memory. But they always hit.
A lot of people would remember that. A lot of people. Actually, I dare to say most people who are familiar with the name Hannibal Lecter would know where that comes from. Or you don't know either, but it's not that impressive to remember which movie a character came from.
Me. I don't bring it up too much because I have to take such a... He brought up Hannibal Lecter. What does that have to do with this? What is it? It has everything to do with it, right? That's who we're allowing into our country. And we don't want to allow that into our country. So I've done something for you that I haven't done in 20 speeches. I brought up Dr. Hannibal Lecter, and we're allowing him in our country. You watch these fake people will say, again, he brought up Hannibal Lecter. It has absolutely nothing to do. You know, I do the weave, right? The weave, it's genius. You bring up Hannibal Lecter, you mention insane asylum, Hannibal Lecter, you go out. Now, there'll be a time in life where the weave won't finish properly at the bottom. And then we can talk. But right now, it's pure...
Yeah, like when you forget your point whenever you get distracted by your own
genius,
hair.
Hey, I have an uncle, my uncle, Uncle John, my father's brother. 41 years at MIT, longest serving professor, has so many degrees, he didn't know what the hell to do with them all. In the most complicated, I understand a lot of this stuff, you know, I believe in that. Like, I mean, Jack Nicklaus is not going to produce a bad golfer, right? You know, that's the way it works. It's just one of those things, and it's in the family, and it's whatever.
The reason the quote-unquote fake news talks about you bringing up Hannibal Lecter is because it's always as disjointed and concerning as the way he just did that. Guys, this is, I know you're thinking we've heard that before. No. Now, it is not normal. So we will not normalize it for a presidential candidate in every single speech to spend time talking about how they're such a genius and how they... The way that I talk is oh, and by the way, this monitor is a really good monitor, and these lights, Jaden, how did we get such bright lights? I did the weave. Do you see? Because I said different things, and then also my pen is really gold colored. It looks. Oh my gosh, is this an actual fancy pen, or is this just a prop? This looks like a prop. And we will make our country great again. You see the weave. I came back to something. Genius. That's the part we're criticizing, is how you can't articulate yourself in a way that is structured such that it makes sense. And instead, you congratulate yourself for remembering what you were talking about before you got distracted, like a puppy dog getting distracted by a squirrel. Okay? Doesn't make you a genius. Normal people, every single day, Donald, I talk, I transition a point into a different point, and then I come back to the original thesis of my segments. Never have I gone, oh my gosh, I'm doing something beyond human comprehension. It's called talking, all right? Talking like a person. Using English, remembering points you want to make, and then going through them sequentially. You patting yourself on the back because you remember which movie Hannibal Lecter came from and calling yourself a genius for that is a part of what is being criticized. And it's crazy that between ramblings like that, he's using valuable time at these rallies talking about the stuff that won't move the needle. If this next clip moves the needle, then America is having a tough time.
Fix your schools. Stop the indoctrination of your children, and we will not let them try to change your kids' gender. No, you will not be doing that.
And this continues on Trump's claim that he said many times before, like this.
Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much. Go have a good day in school. And your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country?
I say it again. To all the people out there in the world who are thinking, oh, it's so close to election day and I just can't decide. First, I say, reach out, please. What's going on? Undecided still? Yikes. But I say that with love, first of all, of course. But also, if you believe that you could send your child to school and they could come back and the school would have done a brutal operation, as Trump describes it, a sex change operation, sex reassignment surgery at school to your child, then clearly I can't reach you. If you think that's happening, go vote for Trump. Anyone else who thinks that just may have been as much of a non-fictional story as Hannibal Lecter, then maybe you try voting for Kamala Harris. Speaking of Kamala Harris, before getting back to the Trump stuff, here she is also in North Carolina.
I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but who are putting Constitution of the United States over party. I see the promise of America every day in the young leaders who are voting for the first time. Where are you? Where are you? Let me.
And this is a really interesting format to recent speeches she's been doing, which is I see the promise of America in, and then following with a list of different people and movements. And it's a pretty cool one because it is the embodiment of what standing for American principles should be when a Republican says, I'm voting for Harris because Trump stands against the constitutional American principles we stand for. It is embodying that promise of America to advocate for your own future by getting involved in politics as a young American, for example. Here's more.
So look, it all comes down to this. We are all here together because we love our country. We love our country. Yes.
Really? I've been going to Trump rallies though, and I'm pretty sure that America is a nation in what was that, serious decline, in a third world country and an S-hole country, according to MAGA, and filled with a bunch of deranged and sick people who are the enemy from within, and we're the garbage can of the world. I was pretty sure we weren't deserving of the label great, as Trump has so passionately argued. No, of course, that is the Trump argument. Harris is embodying the patriotic movement, as much as Republicans used to try to exclusively own that label.
We love our country. And here's what we know. Here's what we all know. When you love something, you fight for it.
Exactly. Taking back the term and then going, here's what it means. Because I'm so sick and tired, or I was growing up. Now Republicans have sort of run away from patriotism. But when they used to say, that's our term, we embody that, Democrats don't, you would hear that in the form of an argument of, because y'all criticize America a lot, or you want all these crazy changes. But what Harris is tapping into there is the changes we want to see, the injustices we want to address. The reason we call out the wrongs and want to make them right is because we love our country. And of course, you're going to fight to make it better if you actually love it. Harris did deal with some heckling, and I want to show you this and then show you how Trump has previously handled heckling in the past.
Making sure that we are caring for those who are caring for others. It's okay, y'all. Democracy can be complicated. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. This is what democracy looks like.
So a part of it there is whenever there are interruptions, protesters, sometimes the crowd members then turn around and start, right? So she's saying to her crowd, it's all right. This is democracy. People can come and they can shout, and I respect that. Donald Trump deals with it very differently.
Back home to mommy. She goes back home to mommy. Was that you, darling? And then she gets the hell knocked out of her.
Fantasizing there about the hell being knocked out of the heckler by their family. Democracy, we respect their right to protest, versus I hope they are physically beaten when they get home. Then you have Trump making this statement.
When I told him yesterday, I was with him in the plane, I told him, Bobby, look, here's the story. You can work on food, you can work on anything you want. He wants health, he wants women's health, he wants men's health, he wants kids, he wants everything. I said, here's what you can't touch, Bobby. You can't touch our liquid gold. I'm handling that.
So if you want Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be in charge of anything he'd like, and he can do whatever he wants except for don't mess with my oil related policies. If that's what something you want, if you want Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in charge of, as he's promised to be, the CDC, the FDA, the NIH, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who flew into Samoa, advocated for anti-vaccine principles, bolstered the anti-vaccine movement, contributed to a plummet in vaccination rates there for measles, and subsequently 80 plus Samoans died who didn't need to of measles. If you want him in charge of vaccine policy, vote Trump. Otherwise, don't. Tim Walz also campaigning today, saying this.
There are so many reasons here, but we've got a chance to turn the page on Donald Trump. So many reasons, and to vote for Kamala Harris, so many reasons to vote against this guy. But I'll tell you, this one may be petty, but we've earned it living with this guy for 9 years. How great's it going to be just not to see him on TV anymore?
Not the most important, but definitely compelling to not have to hear from Trump anymore within our political discussions would be very nice. Then more from Harris.
And growing up, I saw how hard my mother worked to give her daughters the same chances our country gave her. And I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love who instilled in me the values of community and compassion and faith. And I have spent my life fighting for people who have been hurt and counted out, but who never stop believing that in our country, anything is possible.
Epic. And a little bonus clip. You might be familiar with white nationalist Nick Fuentes, super far right, at one point super pro-Trump. He's been drifting because Trump isn't radical enough for him. Crazy. But think about this. You know how we say that Trump could do anything at these rallies, and many of his supporters will never doubt voting for him one bit because they're in a cult. And it's one thing for me to say that. Now, even some within MAGA, like Nick Fuentes, are realizing that.
Garbage. And at the Trump rallies, they're yelling, trash for Trump, trash for Trump. And I saw other people. I saw white guys. I saw Hispanic guys inside trash cans, jumping out of them with Trump signs. White guys with garbage bags that say trash for Trump 2024. And that was kind of like, to me, that was the moment when I realized Trumpism was a cult. That was the moment when I realized liberals are right. That was the moment when I realized it has gone too far. It is Frankenstein's monster. We have created a golem. It is a problem.
Even Nick Fuentes, if you can imagine that, is realizing what we've been saying all along. And that, yes, indeed, not all of the people voting for Trump are in a cult, but the people who are so avid about Trump being the, I don't even want to use terms, people get so triggered by all of them, but the person who it would be justified to give dictatorial power to in their mind, those people who put him above everything else, they're in a cult. And that's why no argument or no mistake strategically from Trump would move them. Then checking back in on Harris.
And I think everyone here knows one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do. Not the government and not Donald Trump.
Indeed. I wanted to go quickly through that as quickly as I could. That's why I'm giving a little less analysis here, but let me know what your analysis is in the comments and get the bonus show by clicking that join button below. And here's a little promo for our election night coverage.
We have to show that the MAGA way will only ever end in electoral defeat.
Just completely off the rails consistently, openly, brazenly, and blatantly insult. It is a sign of his own desperation.
So friends, if you're eligible voters, I want you to keep this in mind. Donald Trump will never be held accountable for anything he does if you give him back the keys to the White House. The stakes are too high.